Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. My name is Matt Fong. I'm the Director of Fundraising and Outreach here for the Crane Trust. So glad so many of you could join us here this morning as we recap and talk about the spring migration. So lots of good information to share here. As I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, for those of you who have just joined, we do have the chat feature enabled, so you're welcome to pop a chat into the little chat box there, as well as ask a question. So the question and answer box is also open, so you can ask questions there. We do have a little team behind the scenes helping to answer all of your chats and questions. So Matt Urbanski, our marketing coordinator, is available to hopefully help us answer any of those questions. So you can ask away and see if you can stump Matt today. So Bryce, I think we'll go ahead and get started here whenever you're ready.
Well, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us today. We're really excited to share our recap with you all. And it's amazing it's May already, but we just want to say thank you all, and it's been a remarkable year. It was actually the smoothest crane season that I've been part of, and I came to the Crane Trust in 2012. So we really formalized the program, starting in 2014, and it's really grown and taken leaps and bounds thanks for the team that's here today. The last few years have just been remarkable. I do want to introduce the team that'll be speaking today. So myself as President and CEO, and Dr. Abraham Cans, our Director of Research, and Megan Launchbaugh, our Director of the Nature and Visitor Center, and Matt Fong, who's already been on the call already and helped facilitating this opportunity. So thank you all for being here today. I want to say a special thank you to our board members, Shelley Saling-Zart, Brad Carell, Craig Thompson. They are key to really shining a light on the mission of the Crane Trust and partaking in crane season and throughout the year. So I just can't say enough thank you to that great team, along with our volunteers, as you see in the picture here. So that was taken earlier this year at the beginning of the season for some volunteer training. And then we just had a wonderful volunteer thank you night the other day. So we could not do it without all of you. So everything from the Nature Center to the VIP program to our photo experiences, fixing blinds, vehicles, and helping on the landscape. So thank you all. And for all of you visitors, you make this happen. So you support, champion, and recognize the significance of the Central Flyway by being here. And I just really want to focus on our neighbors a few minutes away to all the world travelers. So when they come halfway around the globe to find Nebraska to witness the Sandhill crane migration, it's a wonderful experience for everybody. And it's wonderful to meet new people every year. Who we are. So the Crane Trust protects Platte River prairies, Platte River habitat for migrating cranes. We were founded in 1978 through a Gray Rocks Dam project. So it was a dam on a tributary to the Platte River near Laramie, Wyoming. So on the heels of the endangered species, helped create where and who we are today. So we own a little over 6,000 acres and managed, through easements and other opportunities, nearly 10,000 acres. The Crane Trust was luckily enough to acquire our Nature Visitor Center right off the Alda exit, Interstate 80 and 305, which really gave us a face to the world, and where nearly 35,000 people came through just this spring alone to learn more about the Crane Trust. And this map, we created this map years ago, but it's such a key to explaining the Central Flyway and the importance of the Crane Trust and where we lie, right in the pinch point or hourglass of that area. So you'll see the shaded area, which has the Sandhill crane migration patterns on it, as well as the whooping cranes are a narrow band that aren't on this map, but this is the only place in the world that you can witness the sandhill cranes that you do. So whether you are here personally to see it on site or virtually, over 1 million cranes come through the Grand Island to Kearney area in central Nebraska. And then we have another 250,000 cranes that migrate through the western side of the flyway into western Nebraska, and along with millions of migrating geese, ducks, and songbirds. So we're really focused on more than cranes, but it's wonderful to see the progression of the migration. So if you come in early February, you have a more diverse opportunity to see species, and then as the peak of the sandhill crane comes somewhere throughout March. It's more densely packed with sandhill cranes, and then of course shorebirds and other variety of ducks and grassland nesting birds, neotropical migrants arrive towards the end of the migration. And with that, Abe, would you go ahead and give us a review of the counting cranes?
Yeah, thanks for that intro for everyone, Bryce, and for leading us through that. I'm going to pick things up here and just talk about our crane counting this year. So, just some background knowledge, so everyone knows, what we're going on. I assume you've seen a lot of our social media posts talking about this, but back in February, in February, we tend to start our weekly crane counting flights, right? And Crane Trust has been doing this since 1998. So we have, we're coming on 3 decades of these flights. So it's an 80-mile stretch that's covered from Chapman to Overton, and we do aerial estimates. So you may have heard Bethany Ostrom, who is our lead biologist. She conducts these flights weekly, and she'll talk about how when she counts the cranes, it's kind of a density estimate kind of thing. She'll look at a group of them, estimate that number, we'll take GPS points for it, everything like that. And we do that along our whole section of the river. And that allows us to put together a general estimate for the minimum number of cranes, sandhill cranes, that are present in the area at any given time. We also take photographs of some roosts. Besides just being really exciting to have those photographs, it's also a way that we estimate error. So we'll look at like what we estimated for an area versus how many are actually in there, because we can take that photo into the lab and count out each individual crane on our computers. This right here is a summary of our weekly crane counts for the past couple of years, right? So I have 2016 listed here as kind of a baseline. 2016 was chosen because it was a year where we kind of not completely switched methods, but the methods shifted for crane flights, right? So those of you that may have heard about the crane flights in the late 90s, early 2000s may have known that we used to go even further west than we currently do along this flight path. But that's just not as heavily used or used really at all by the sandhill cranes anymore. So we've shifted the area that we survey a little bit. So 2016 represents the first year of kind of that shift. But we've also got the last 2 years on here, and you can start to see some patterns forming, right? So if you look at that 2026, you can see that our peak is around the week 5 area, which is kind of, a peak we saw in 2026. Still more cranes, though, right there around that time. Whereas in 2024, our peak was kind of much later, around that week 7. And just last year, we had that huge peak, you may have remembered, a record number of cranes estimated here. Around that week 5 area. And a lot of this just has to do with, how the cranes are acting, what's the climate like, what's the resource availability like, and things like that. This year, we see a drop off right after week 6, just a huge decline in the number of cranes here. And it was just kind of an earlier crane season this year. The cranes kind of loaded up on resources and got out of here just slightly earlier. We still had some near the end of the year, so there were still some, not end of the year, end of March. Feels like the end of the year for us, but end of March. So there was still some viewing, but we definitely saw a drop off in the total population here. But yeah, those estimates are listed on the side there, on the right side of the slide. And we also have them on a lot of our social media outlets, as well as on our website. So a few, some fun observations to take away and some things to keep in mind when we're doing the counts this year. First of all, just kind of a reminder for those of you that hadn't heard about this or need a refresher on this, we had about 35,000 overwintering cranes here right in front of the Crane Trust, which is just interesting to see, kind of cool to see them choosing this habitat. And that's something we'd like to investigate further, why we have so many overwintering cranes sometimes. There was a generally smaller peak this year than last year. Our peak was 494,000, according to our estimates. And I think that just has to do with the pace at which the cranes were moving through this area. Not necessarily fewer cranes using the Platte. There were still likely about the 1.2 million coming through this area that we would expect. And then we had an early end to our counts this year, actually. So week 9 is when we ended. Now, the end point for our counts is when there are fewer than 5,000 on the river. So we're not saying there were no cranes after that. It's just when there are so few, it's hard to make sure you estimate all of them. Sometimes it's hard to find them all. And, so we ceased the flights after we found that there are fewer than that many on the Platte River itself. So the next thing I want to talk to everyone here about is a project we had going on this spring as well as last spring. So we started it in 2025, and this is a donor-funded research project the Crane Trust is conducting, and that's our Sandhill Crane Tracking Project. So here we have some photos taken from this spring during our crane trapping going on at the same time as our VIP program. And so on the left there, you see the far left is Bethany Ostrom, again, our lead biologist, and she is holding one of our captured sandhill cranes, prepping it or holding it as they prepare on the right side of that picture for like blood samples, for placing the tracker, taking down info, things like that. So also in that picture are Maddie, who is in the background, and then Andy Gossens, and they're both International Crane Foundation employees that helped us out this year with this project. And then the right picture is Elsa Forsberg, who is our new wildlife biologist. And this was her first March here, and she got to handle the cranes. You can see there she's holding a crane, getting ready to release it after it's already been, quote unquote, worked up. So we had some success this year. Now, the point of this project is we want to track or figure out where our cranes are going, right? Where are they hanging out, or where are their breeding grounds in Canada or Alaska, Siberia. Additionally, we want to see what their habitat use is like around the Platte River. Specifically, we want to see how far these cranes are traveling from the river to forage during the day before they come back and roost at night. We also are interested in if there are any larger shifts in the migratory corridor kind of through this area. So where are the cranes moving? Where's the bulk of the population kind of shifting to the east, to the west, things like that, based on conditions and based on just year to year. Right here, we have pictured the tracking devices that we put on the legs of the cranes. So on the left there, you can kind of see what it looks like. The back, quote unquote, door of that tracker is actually removed in that photo, but you can see the leg will slide in right there. That box kind of sits around it. The right photo shows you where it sits on the crane and kind of how it wraps around that leg. And so we place those on the cranes after we capture them and just let them go on their way. And that will give us a signal that we can track throughout the year generally. Every now and again, we do have, when the cranes get into some of the more remote areas, especially of like Canada, it can be hard to get a signal from them. So those tracking units will actually store the GPS coordinates on board and then start uploading them once they do receive a signal eventually. So kind of a really cool piece of technology, and that's what they're looking like. That's what we're putting on the cranes. They're relatively light as well, I think, yeah. And the next thing we're going to go to is actually a video of our crane tracking, right? So this is a video that all of our members have access to through the story map link, or this map anyways. And so this shows you initially the first 5 cranes we had from our first year of trapping last year. You can see they all went up into Canada or Siberia and then came back down for their fall migration. Right now, you can see that they're all doing their wintering in Texas and Oklahoma and whatnot. Then they bump up here in the spring, and we'll see that right there. And then at this point, this last step, we will see, actually, it's kind of hard to see in here, but that last step, there are actually 16 colors in there, and it's kind of tricky. You get a ton of points built up around there. Anyways, we had a really successful year of trapping is what this is supposed to show as well. We had 11 additional cranes that we affixed trackers to, leading to 16 in total. So it's really cool to see our team being successful in their trapping of the cranes and placing of the trackers. And I'm really excited to see where these cranes end up. So the end of the video there was kind of quick, but you'll see that the cranes, if you go to the site, you'll see the cranes currently are sitting kind of in southern Canada. There's one in Minnesota right now, and they're kind of doing some secondary staging before they maybe go further north into other regions of Canada, or again that individual that went to Siberia, and you know, making that final leg of their trek. So I'm excited to see where all the new cranes end up and what areas we got cranes from around here. So exciting stuff going on with that project. I do want to give a big thank you to all the our members. I know a lot of you helped out, but anyone that donated to the project, it is a public funded project, a donor funded project. So really cool to fund science in that way, and really exciting that we can do this kind of cool work and share it with all of you at the Crane Trust here. Last update not quite the last, there's going to be one after this, but the next update I'm going to give you is on the whooping cranes that came through the area, right? So the summary for this year was that there were about 557 whooping cranes in the wild population on the Platte River, and these are rough numbers, by the way. So these are still all these are still being verified. So take it with a grain of salt. They could shift as we work with Fish and Wildlife looks at these numbers and determines if there are any repeats or need to be shifted. But we had 39 individual groups of whooping cranes come through the area, or 39 groups, and then that translates to about 118 individuals that came through the Central Platte River Valley. So a large portion of the total whooping crane population is utilizing the Platte River, and we saw them here this year. So just exciting to see that number and see how many whooping cranes are enjoying this area. Now, this is the last thing that I have as an update, and that is just a general discussion of some new and incoming staff we have this year. So we are going to have a new Lila O. Wilson Biological Monitoring Fellow, and that will be Clara Fries. She is a student from University of Nebraska-Lincoln and just graduating this month. So she's really excited to come out here and jump straight to field work and get some experience. We also have a returning fellow. So we have William Hampson is returning as our Saunders Conservation Fellow. The Crane Trust also offers an Embers Land Management internship, and we're still determining the individual that will be hired for that. And lastly, the science team also will have a summer science intern, which is an undergraduate student joining us from Central Michigan University named Elizabeth Martin. So hopefully you'll hear some updates from all of them throughout the summer. It'll be exciting to see some new staff and hear from them on the exciting experiences they have in the field collecting information. All right. And with that, I believe I will hand it off to Matt Fong to talk with you all about some of the March crane viewing opportunities we have here at the Crane Trust.
Good job, Abe. I appreciate all of that good information, and always interesting to see. I love that crane tracking project, and so it's fun to see and watch the progression continue throughout the year. So again, thanks for doing a nice overview of all of that. I just wanted to provide just a quick update here as it relates to all of the March crane viewing options that we offer here at the Crane Trust. So you can see this photo on the slide is the Platte River Migration Cruise. That was a fun group of friends who came out just this past year. They actually made their own t-shirts, so I love that. And so you can see that they were enjoying their overnight VIP experience in one of our VIP viewing blinds. But as Bryce mentioned, our Nature and Visitor Center really is kind of our first stop for many folks as they come to Central Nebraska. So we offer a great gift shop, art gallery, trails, great speaker series. Megan will detail all of that here in just a few minutes. Our Nature Center tours we have individual blind tours, footbridge tours, and daytime driving tours. We also have two photography workshops offered, one by Cheryl Opperman and another by Jeff Carney. So great photography programming specific to amateur and semi-professional photographers. And then, as I mentioned, our overnight VIP experience. And so we do provide on-site lodging, meals, and you go out to our VIP blinds with our scientists and staff. So again, those are all of the different types of tours and programming that we offer throughout the month of March. So we're all just now finally recovering from our busy season. So next, I think I'll turn it over to Megan, to talk about a few updates from the Nature and Visitor Center.
Thanks, Matt. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, like everyone has said so far, just to echo, it was a great March. Especially fun to be in the Nature and Visitor Center, kind of that front door to people arriving. So we got to see a lot of people. Um, which was delightful and awesome. We had some great groups of people come in and some fun stories. Some pen pals met here that have been pen pals for several decades and arrived to meet and view the cranes together. So just always, you know, I personally always love the birds, but I am always reminded how great the people who love birds are. So, our Nature and Visitor Center, as Matt mentioned, as one of the viewing hubs, we were open 7 days a week in March. It's kind of a little mini marathon, but it's great. We had visitors from 49 states plus the District of Columbia. Um, for anybody curious, we always seem to have one state that we just didn't get somebody to sign in the guest book from, and it was West Virginia. So if you know someone from West Virginia, tell them to come sign our guest book this year. We also had 9 international countries represented. We sold 500 plus cinnamon rolls, sold and baked. So thanks to Billy in the snack bar for being here every morning at sunrise, making freshly baked cinnamon rolls for everyone. And thanks to the Grand Island Tourism that offer the free postcard mailing, visitors sent 1,340 complimentary postcards to 50 different states and 16 different countries. So it's just always amazing to see how far people come to be here. Our gift shop is one of the favorite stops in the visitor center, and we had a great year in the gift shop this year. So 4,678 transactions. Our gift shop staff were busy, 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 ringing people up and restocking and just trying to keep up with people who are excited to get a souvenir and come support the Crane Trust through the gift shop. So we sold more items than last year, which is always just a fun metric. And it's always, I enjoy kind of seeing like, what is it that people get excited about in the gift shop so we can make sure that we're offering up the right kind of merch for people who are into that. Postcards for sure, and photo cards. We have some amazing artists that do incredible photo cards that make a great souvenir. Cinnamon rolls and coffee also always high on the list. And then little souvenirs, magnets, t-shirts, pins. That's kind of the heavy trafficked items in the gift shop. So, and this is there was Lola and Deb packaging up some art, which we also do a lot of art shipping in March, which is always a fun adventure, but such a great thing to have so much amazing art. And then our tours. Our tours are one of the highlights of March, obviously. Our 2026 tour breakdown. The evening blind tours were the most sold, but morning blind tours not far behind. 2,378 blind tour tickets sold in total, and then 446 footbridge tours and 237 driving tours for a grand total of 3,061 tour tickets sold. So it was a great year. We bumped up our capacity a little bit this year, which was fun to see, and it just was a great year for viewing cranes. So, oh, as the as the reviews told. So, we're always very thankful for people who take the time to give a review after their tour or after their visit anytime year round. This kind of just helps get the word out. We are a small local nonprofit, and so for people to be able to see kind of what we offer and the firsthand experience. So if you have been here and you haven't had a chance yet, we'd love to have you review us on Google. That's great. These reviews also, I think, speak to like the migration itself is such a magnificent spectacle to view. And so on in that regard, sometimes it doesn't feel very hard to get a good review when the cranes are just magnificent. But one of the things that I love about these reviews is that they really, really speak to how incredible our staff is at the Nature and Visitor Center and at the Crane Trust in general, and as well as our volunteers who run our tours from the Nature and Visitor Center tours. Um, and so there is frequent mention of how much the people here supporting Crane Trust, the staff and the volunteers, make a difference in just making a visit go from, great to amazing. So, I think taking a minute to acknowledge that the staff and the volunteers are really just the heart of these amazing reviews. So, and then our speaker series. It was a great year for our speaker series. We had 17 different speakers in March, so we had a busy lineup, which was wonderful. Kiana Leonard doing the crane behavior talk is always a great one. Our own Kylie Warren doing virtual highlights from the virtual stream. Alex Wiles, an amazing documentarian. Our Bethany Ostrom and Abe Cans both did science snippets this year, which was one of my favorite things. It's just always so cool to get people and the public to be able to kind of get an insight into what our science team is doing because they're doing such awesome stuff. George Archibald and Andy Caven, both from the International Crane Foundation, are always amazing speakers, and it's so fun to hear what the International Crane Foundation is doing. Andy Peters, Lisa Kircher, Heather Henson, Linda Severson Guild, just some amazing artists highlighting art and conservation. Deb Miller is also one of us, brings her live raptors, and we're so grateful for the partnership with Deb. She's one of our volunteers. Matt Reed from Pawnee was an awesome and well-attended speaker, and we are hoping to continue highlighting some of the amazing history and of the Pawnee culture. So, and Ted LaGrange, Tobin Brown, also amazing prairie and wetlands and birding. It just was, we kind of covered it all, I hope, is my, we'd like to keep growing this speaker series, but this was an awesome year. So just thank you to everybody who gave a presentation, and thanks to everybody who attended. And then our art show weekend. This was kind of one of my favorite weekends of the entire season. We had some great local partnerships this year. So First Street Brewing and Mean Bone Barbecue out of Hastings helped us do a weekend kickoff. And then we had Max Creek Winery out of Lexington and Boardology out of Hastings both participated during the art show day. And then we had 20 plus of our artists come join us for the day and hang out and showcase some of their new art, talk about some of the art that they have on display at the Crane Trust. And it was such a delightful day, not only to get to see some of their work and to get to just spend a day kind of interacting with them, but to see them interact with visitors and to see them interact with each other. The partnership with many of these artists is one of the things that makes our visitor center just beautiful and unique. And so we're so grateful for them choosing to support the Crane Trust through their work. And of course, it wouldn't be March without our volunteers. Truly, we say it all the time, but I haven't figured out a better and more accurate way to say it. We could not do this without our volunteer base. They essentially run our visitor center during March. They are there greeting guests, giving information, pointing people in the right direction, giving out driving maps and suggestions on where to go see cranes. They also run our tours for the entire month, which is just incredible that we just have this group of people who love this so much, and they show up day after day and do the marathon with us. And so many of them have been with the Crane Trust for so long. And it's just, that was one of the things that, I started at Crane Trust as a volunteer and just felt warmly welcomed into this delightful family right away. And so I adore this group of people so much. I can't say enough good things about them. 55 plus volunteers this year, logged over 2,300 volunteer hours in the month of March alone. So just the best. And then just to kind of wrap up with a few NVC highlights, because March is obviously our favorite for a lot of reasons, but there is a ton of stuff that happens year round here that I also just love so much. So our gift shop is here and open. Our pollinator garden, we've been working on our pollinator garden this spring, getting things set and ready to be growing and getting those butterflies later this summer. We have a little kids corner. We actually have caterpillars and things right now that will be growing into butterflies. We have monthly family events. We have one tomorrow morning if you want to come birding with us at 9 a.m. We have bison. We actually have two new baby bison in our herd next to the visitor center. And of course, the art gallery and other birding and our amazing nature trails. And there's a lot to do here, so come see us anytime. And if you can't come see us, our online gift shop is up and running, and thanks to Lola, who is crushing it, adding new items every week and getting things on there so that you can support the Crane Trust by purchasing awesome and unique items, even if you can't make it here in person. So that's it for me.
Well, thank you, Megan. That was a wonderful oversight of the Nature Visitor Center. And it just is a reminder to me how many moving parts we have behind the scenes. So great people doing great things. It's wonderful. So you mentioned bison just recently, and I'm just going to do a quick overview of our bison herd. So we were excited to bring bison originally to the Crane Trust with the help of Randy Miller, who owns Nebraska Bison in 2013. So we started with 4 bison, grew that to 12, and then we were excited to lean on one of our fellow craniacs, and that was TR and K Hughes, but had a herd of 42 bison that they brought to the Crane Trust in 2015. So with that, we have grown that to currently 149 bison on over 1,200 acres of prairie. And just recently, the Donald and Lorena Meyer Foundation has helped us improve our corral system and bison land expansion project. So hats off to them. And there's more to come in a bison virtual here later this fall that will expand on that. So hot off the press, though, as of this morning, we have 30 calves. So we're expecting around 45 calves. We started in late April, and we assume to finish up in early June. So that's a lot of excitement, and you can learn a lot more on our bison program by getting online at our website and reading the bison management plan and some other research that is just hitting the press here in the next week or two. So that was a cliffhanger for now. So anyway, it's exciting to have the bison on the prairie as a valuable tool for our land management and science efforts. Also, a valuable tool is prescribed burning, and it ultimately clears invasive and woody vegetation, sets back cool season grasses, and we have Josh Weezy out on the prairie, and thanks for sharing this clip. So showing him in action, burning about 90 acres of our prairie last week. So key component to this was setting back cool season grasses and cedars. So there's sadly enough, there's quite a few cedars, small ones in relative in size, about 1 foot to 2 foot tall, that will hopefully be consumed in that fire right there. So fire overall helps improve soil structure and nutrient cycling. So, that forever process of keeping native prairie. And it also provides opportunity for fire training and fire experience, which in Nebraska, we have noted a lot of the combination of people that have a lot of prescribed fire experience helping out with wildland fires. So, and I'm kind of transitioning to the state of Nebraska this year with the ongoing drought. There has been over 900,000 acres of wildland fire in Nebraska this year, and that's just off 10 large fires. So we've had a small fire of 100 acres, a wildland fire in January 21st this year on our property. But I just wanted to take a moment to tie that together and say, our thoughts and prayers are with all those that are affected, and also a thank you to all those that are helping, from the firefighters, emergency services for all those incidences. So with the drought conditions, we have had significant fire bans in effect this year. So we have only been able to do one 90-acre prescribed fire, and here's a wonderful picture of it. It is actually located just east of our office, about 1.5 miles, out definitely on the prairie. So it's good photo that shows you what the lowland tallgrass riverine prairie actually is. So it's a combination of wetlands and riverine ground. So that will work for that. We do have a nice video for the Drought Monitor Index video that shows the ongoing drought or cumulative effects of the drought from October through March. This overall, we've had less than 6 inches of snow here at the Crane Trust this past winter, and some of that is it's a more significant issue. It's a growing issue, but we have a long-term monitoring program, and it's been in place for 11 years now. We're going on 12 years with it, but we chart the change over time here at the trust, and what those effects are on small mammals, the grasses, pollinators, and fishes on our property. But really, it's a key component to what the cranes did this year. We had 35,000 over winter, which Abe mentioned, and a lot of that is from the drought. So last fall, they showed up and it was hot and dry, and they didn't need to go anywhere. But there's there's a hint of worry. What does this mean for the Crane Trust? What does it mean on our management practices? So here's a picture of our this picture details the wide braided channels of the Platte River. If you look in the top left corner is our headquarters. So many of you viewed cranes in this area this spring. So, and our virtual cameras are oversee this wide braided channel as well. And that picture was taken yesterday. Some notes of concern: this March, we had river flows as low as 250 cubic feet per second. And to put that in perspective, an average flows in March would be, 2,000 cubic feet per second. So what does that mean? Did whooping cranes, stopover stays? Was it shorter? Did as many stop? Did that affect the health of the birds as they migrate through and continue on to their breeding areas? A lot of those answers we lean to yes, that is the case. We will lean on our research and data and to tell that story accurately. So it really ties into what can we do about this. We're have a voice at environmental tables and discussions, but a lot of the focus on the landscape itself that we have looked at from this spring going into the rest of the year is how and what are we doing from a land management standpoint. So will we have to put the tractors and disc in the river more to keep the vegetation out if this drought continues? So it'll be a lot more unwanted vegetation growth in the river. And if you can't treat or break down that material, will it then become woody vegetation over time, create islands, and just make more work and displace birds in the future? So that was just the focus on cranes per se. We did notice the sandhill cranes, besides overwintering, moving further distances to feed, and some of the roost site selection changed, spread out on the river through areas that we haven't documented over the past decade. So more to come on that. Sorry for the rambling there. Lots of information though.
Lots of great information, though, Bryce. Appreciate kind of your overview of that. It reminds me, in March, we also experienced record-breaking heat. And so how many days was it? I think it was 4 days were over 90 degrees in March. And so many of our viewing blinds, we have installed heat over the years. Little did we know that we needed to install air conditioners in those blinds. So really, it was While I kind of make jest at this, it really is a concerning trend in the extreme temperatures that we're seeing here in the Central Platte River Valley. So thanks for doing an overview of that, Bryce.
Yes, and Matt, one key point of that, I believe you and I just visited last night, March 19th of 25. We had a blizzard and it was a high of 37, but we're unlucky enough to have the power outage here for 2 days. But this year it was 97 degrees. So if you take March 19th of 26, so you never know what you're going to get here in the springtime.
The weather swings of just one year. So yes, I remember that uh, winter weather experience well as we were out of power for a couple of days, and this year 97. So big weather swings for sure. So just wanted to take a couple of minutes here and kind of wrap up. Again, thank you to all of our members from around the world. We have officially eclipsed over 2,000 members. So how wonderful for Crane Trust here in central Nebraska. Wood River, Nebraska, having over 2,000 people who are following our work and joining the Crane Trust. And so, as you all likely know, Crane Trust memberships start at $75. That does give you year-round access to our wildlife cam and also our virtual crane tours during the month of March. Kylie Warren does such a great job with those. And also, our friend of the trust level members, so those are our $250 members and up, also receive our photo book. So I'll have just a couple of notes about that here in just a second. But again, we're so grateful for all of you who support the trust in this really wonderful way. Quick overview here of our virtual crane cam and our virtual tours. Over 8,000 hours of virtual content was viewed from February 21st through March 29th. So that equates to over 11,000 individual views. Average view time was 33 minutes, 17,000 impressions. And again, guided viewings are offered 10 times a week, so both morning and evening both. Our virtual crane tours have really expanded the reach of the Crane Trust, and so such a vital part of what we do and our ability to share our work with folks around the world. So thanks again for everybody who participated in that. Kylie Warren put together this short 3-minute recap from virtual, so I'll play that now. If for some reason the sound doesn't work here, so just put a note in the chat or in the question and answer, and I'll fix that. But I think I tested it before we got started here, but I want to make sure you're able to hear the music associated with that, so I'll play that now. Wasn't that fun? Kylie did such a nice job with that virtual recap. And so grateful for her and all of her work. Obviously wonderful to be able to see the sights and sounds from the crane migration. And I'm just so grateful that we have this wonderful tool of our virtual cameras that can capture and really see all of the wonderful things that take place here. Kylie did send me a note during that video. She is uploading that video to YouTube, so it'll be available if you would like to take a look at that or share it with other friends and family members. So it'll be available on YouTube later today or over the weekend. So take a look at that and share it broadly if you would. We'd appreciate that. Kylie has more work to do over the course of the coming year, so additional virtual programs coming up. She'll feature bison in July, some of our scientific surveys in September, whooping cranes in the fall migration in November, and then we'll recap the entirety of the year in December. So we'll have lots of other opportunities to share our work throughout the year. As I mentioned earlier, we do produce a photo book. So the photos in the photo book are all submitted by guests and visitors that participated in our crane season here at the Trust. And so we are still, our window to receive photos is coming up short here, but we are still seeking photos for that photo book. So you can email photos or ask Matt Urbanski. So his email is up on the screen there. Also, if you don't write down how to spell Urbanski, you can find his contact information on our website. Just a quick reminder, all of our members, $250 and up, will receive that photo book, and we'll likely mail those out in early July. So do take note of that, and we look forward to sending those out here in just a couple of months. You might be thinking to yourself, how can I continue to help the Crane Trust? Well, we are so grateful for all of the individual donations and memberships that really make a difference for our work year round. This year in particular, we have such a great opportunity. Doug and Allison Fry, so good friends of the Crane Trust, they live in Austin, Texas. Doug actually grew up in Grand Island, so not far from here at the Trust. So know and understand how really important our work is. They have offered to match gifts to our land management program up to $100,000 over the course of the next few weeks. So again, if you are interested in wanting to support our additional work that we have going on here for our land management efforts, as Bryce mentioned, it doesn't look like, given our weather and kind of our drought conditions, that we will be needing to do more land management work this year. So again, if you would like to support that, you can make a gift online, or you're always welcome to reach out to me individually. Again, my contact information is also on the website. So we're so grateful for Doug and Allison and their continued support of the Crane Trust. So if you have any questions about that, again, let me know. So we have made it to the end perfectly here on time, 50 minutes. And so we just really appreciate you taking a little time to learn about our work and how you can continue to engage and connect with the Crane Trust. So again, thank you so much for participating with us here today from our crane season recap. Any other final comments today, Bryce?
Well, again, I just want to reiterate, this is the only place in the world that you can witness the Great Migration and its significance. So if you weren't able to come, please do tell a friend. We're really excited to see how much the Central Platte River Valley was shared internationally through all of the media outreach and because of the work of all of you. So thanks again for championing, sharing, and caring the Crane Trust and its mission. So have a wonderful weekend. Matt and I think I have a 11:15 appointment to give blood at our Nature and Visitor Center Red Cross drive. So I will see you shortly.
That's right. So always lots to do here at the Trust. So today we do have a Red Cross blood drive here at the Visitor Center. So I'm going to go drink one more glass of water before I go offer up a pint of blood for our friends and neighbors here in the area. But again, thank you so much for participating with us. There's lots going on here at the Trust. So check out our website, follow us on social media to hear all of the other things that we're doing throughout the year. So thanks again for participating, everybody. We appreciate that.